What's good, YouTube? It's me, boys. Good back in this video. Ariseheart is back! Apparently, this is the end board that you can make, including Shen, which banishes all cards from the field, off of the new Earthbound Immortal cards. Yep, everyone did not read any of these cards, but apparently they are very viable, guys. This is exactly the end board you will get off of one card plus another card investment, and we're going to show you guys how to make this board right now. So, as you guys can see, this combo does involve the brand new Earthbound Prisoner Groundkeeper. And if you guys watched the previous video, which we actually demonstrated this exact same combo in tier limits, guess what? It can actually be done in pure Kashtira as well, because the main meat and potatoes of the actual deck is Kashtira Fenrir. This is where the synergy is, being the level 7 body that can search consecutive bodies. Now, for those of you guys that don't know what Earthbound Prisoner Groundkeeper does, yeah, we're getting actually a bundle of new Earthbounds in this pack. And I have to give a huge shout out to my friend Anthony Akroth, aka Cheeseball, once again for discovering these combos and making them up entirely on his own accord. To demonstrate the combo for you guys, we're going to start off immediately by special summoning Fenrir, using the effect to add another body, whether that be Tier Limits Kashtira or Scareclaw Kashtira. It doesn't really matter. Both of these guys have the same effect to summon themselves out as an extender. We are then going to normal summon out the Earthbound Prisoner Groundkeeper. What does this card do? Well, when he's normal or special summon, you can special summon a level 5 or lower Earthbound monster from your deck or graveyard, except himself. Why is this important? Well, we're actually summoning another new Earthbound Immortal called Earthbound Prisoner Linewalker, who says when he's summoned, you can add either Earthbound Prison, which is a new Earthbound field spell, or Harmonic Synchro Fusion from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So we're going to go ahead and activate it to add Harmonic Synchro Fusion. This card is very important because it allows us to send 2 face-up monsters later on in the combo to special summon out a Synchro monster and a fusion monster in place of just getting one or the other normally, right? So this is really cool. Watch this. Now we're going to synchro summon, because this bad boy is a level 3 tuner, we're going to go into the Baron de Fleur directly with the Kashtira Fenrir on the field to play around the Biru. This is under 5 summons. Then we're going to summon out the Kashtira Scareclaw. One thing you might have not noticed is Earthbound Prisoner Groundkeeper is actually a Fiend level 1 tuner monster, which means we can then synchro summon using the other level 7 body to go into this new level 8 synchro Earthbound Servant Yugioh, who requires a Dark Tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters. He has a quick effect that allows you to special summon an Earthbound monster from your graveyard, but you're locked into Synchro and Fusion monsters. By the way, guys, these guys all lock you into the same thing. Same deal with Prisoner Groundkeepers. You will be locked into Fusion and Synchro monsters, meaning you're not going to be able to XYZ summon for the rest of the turn. So that's just one thing to be very careful of. But, I mean, Kashtira, you don't really need XYZ. Just leave the guys on the field, right? So we're going to go the effect of Yugioh, quick effect on the summon to resurrect back the Prisoner Groundkeeper as a tuner. Then from here, we're going to activate Harmonic Synchro Fusion. So this said send 2 face-up monsters you control to the graveyard, including a tuner and a non-tuner. Special summon out a fusion monster and a synchro monster from your extra deck that could be fusion summoned and synchro summoned using those 2 monsters in the graveyard as material, right? So we're gonna go ahead and summon out this new bad boy, Earthbound Servant Yugioh. Yes, literally a walking squid is now on the field, and we're also gonna get Shen, because again, 8 plus 1 would equate to 9. And this guy requires 2 Earthbound monsters, who says if he's special summoned, you can add a field spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is very nifty because we're getting a built-in walking terraforming that we can use to search out the Wraithos, which replenishes that first initial Fenrir that we had to invest in the combo, because now we can add it back to our hand from our deck, right? So effectively, this is more or less a 1-card investment. It's not really a traditional 1-card combo because you require the other Fenrir at the start, but at the end of the smoke clearing, we will actually get another copy of a follow-up card in the form of Kashtira Fenrir or Unicorn. And then this card also has another effect that says, if a monster is special summoned from your opponent's extra deck, you can destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible that were special summoned this turn, and inflict 800 damage to your opponent for every destroyed monster. So, what are we looking at here after all the combos said and done? We have a Baron de Fleur Omni Negate. We have a walking Ariseheart, mini Ariseheart, Shen for banishing all cards that are sent from the field to the graveyard. It's highly effective against decks like Fire King or Snake Eyes, you know, especially Populous, trying to resurrect itself back to the field as a continuous spell. And then we also have a quick effect Raigeki. We have 3 basically interrupting cards on top of having 4 cards in hand. Because again, we start with 5 cards in hand, we invested 2, and then at the end of the combo, we added another copy of a Kashtira off of the field spell that we invested with Yugioh. So that means we have 4 cards in hand and this full board. So this deck is actually quite scary if you think about the implication of how good Kashtira is. Number 1, you can also play Dimension Shifter, which is an absolutely insane card in the upcoming metagame when everyone's playing fire-based graveyard-reliant decks. So this is just really, really cool.
Really quickly, if you guys aren't already subscribed to the channel, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button at the bottom. It'll go a long way to support the channel. Other than that, thanks a lot for tuning in.
Now, one thing I want to demonstrate to you guys really quickly. Now, if you don't actually open with the Earthbound Immortal stuff, you can still do stuff with Kashtira that is really, really cool. I think somebody actually topped the regional with this, so shout out to them. I can't remember if I saw this in their YouTube video, but they basically demonstrated a combo where you can actually, alongside Fenrir and Birth, or any other combination of getting Unicorn and Fenrir on the table without using Theosis, is you can actually go off into your Link plays. And what you actually do here is you activate the Birth to normal summon the Unicorn, add a copy of Theosis for later, or another copy of Birth if you prefer that. Then you go into Draco Sack, and Draco Sack allows you to actually detach to summon out 2 tokens. From here, we are actually going to go into 2 Link Spiders, and then this is important because we can now go into this bad boy, G-Golem Crystal Heart, which requires 2 Cybers monsters, and says once per turn you can target an Earth Link monster in your graveyard, special summon it to the zone that this card points to. So this is important. We're going Link climbing, right? We're going for a Link 3 double Cybers monsters, and a Link 3 equates to Decode Talker HEATSOUL, allowing us to draw a card, which is really, really nice. So replenish that other card investment. We're back to 4 cards in hand. And then from here, we are actually going to use the effect of Birth, which we have not yet used. Use the effect of Theosis, and then activate to summon out either Unicorn or whatever the heck else you may want. And by the way, I think I messed up on 4 cards in hand. You actually have 5 cards in hand with the Theosis, I think. So now you have 4 cards in hand. So this is really, really nice. So obviously from here, we're not really locked into anything, so we can actually go off into like a Shangri-Era, or we can just leave the monsters on the table. In our opponent's turn, we draw another card off of HEATSOUL, and we're back to either 5 or 6 cards in hand. And yeah, I mean, this is just something you can do with the traditional Kashtira monster bodies alone. Now, if you haven't actually used your normal summon in a combo like this, where you don't have to do a normal summon the Unicorn, you can obviously draw into the Earthbound stuff and then just go into that line, because that doesn't lock you in anything until you use the effects afterwards, right? So really, really cool stuff. So this is actually an example deck recipe. Again, shout out to Anthony Ackroth. Huge shout out. He's the guy who discovered this combo as well as this deck as an idea and concept. And obviously the main allure of playing a deck like Kashtira in current format is the brokenest hand trap in the entire game, Dimension Shifter. Well, besides Max C, but you get my point. So we're also playing 3 copies of Prisoner Groundkeeper. This is the main starter, the tour guide. He allows you, when normal summon, to special summon a level 5 or lower Earthbound monster from your deck or your graveyard. Generally, you want to summon out the Earthbound Prison Linewalker to add a copy of the Harmonic Synchro Fusion. Now, there is also a field spell that you can search called Earthbound Prison, which, when activated, allows you to target an enemy effect monster and negate that monster's effect while this card is in the field zone. So it's kind of nice for going second, potential option in the side deck. And then on top of that, during the main phase, you can actually normal summon an Earthbound monster in addition to your normal summoner set. So it's really nice how this gives you an extender option that you can search as well. So quite nice of card. We are playing 3 copies of Earthbound Prisoner Stone Sweeper, which says if a card is in a field zone, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then you can discard this card from your hand to add a level 3 or lower Fiend Tuner monster from your deck to your hand, meaning you can search for Groundkeeper or potentially Linewalker. These are just search targets, so you're playing 6 copies of the Earthbound Prisoner Groundkeeper, right? Very, very nice. And then we are just playing regular cash stuff. 1 copy of the Harmonic Synchro Fusion, which is really only the true brick in the deck, I would say, more or less, because all the other stuff really just you can start your plays with. We are playing 1 copy of 1 for 1, because this guy gets his effect when he's special summoned as well. And then the rest of the stuff is quite standard, just playing the other stuff. You could actually search a copy of Primitive Planet Rakephobia off of your Kraken. So if you started already with Rasos, this might be an option for you to search into Scareclaw and also potentially get a draw. If you're in the grind game, popping something, you know, very, very nice. And then, of course, we are playing just a Synchro package, Baron de Fleur, Geo Griffin, and a bunch of other stuff that you can kind of go into. Stardust Charge Warrior is a potential thing that you can go into by normal summoning Groundkeeper and resurrecting a copy of Stone Sweeper. So that's just another option that you have. Obviously, Shen Shen is a very, very powerful card. This can be substituted with the Stellar Wolf, which is basically a walking Nibiru that's level 9. He gains 300 attack every time a monster effect is activated. And then when he has 4k or more attack, you can nuke himself to shuffle all cards that your opponent controls in the deck. All monsters, rather. But I think Shen Shen just goes a lot better with Kashtira. You know, we like banishing stuff. Ariseheart is gone, so we'll just play this Kyuubi instead in his place for now. The rest of the stuff is fairly standard. You can play the Link monsters to go into the Decode Talker HEATSOUL combo that we talked about, and then play this as a standard Kashtira line. Obviously, just leveraging that normal summon, because you don't really take your normal summon in this deck. Earthbound Prisoner Groundkeeper is very, very nice. And then, of course, the benefit of being able to play Shifter This could potentially be a decent deck as a rogue option, I think, coming up for the format where Snake Eyes and Fire Kings will reign supreme because of the existence of Shifter and then Shen Shen being very, very good meta calls. Guys, let me know what you think about this deck. Do you think it's good? Do you think that it's copium? Let us know in the comments below. And other than that, we'll see you all in the next video. Thanks a lot for tuning in.